The appearance of Jesus. The life that conquered death. Kardec teaches that Christ, after the crucifixion, did not resurrect in a fleshly body, as the death of the body is definitive. What manifested to the disciples was the Spirit of Jesus, using his glorious perispirit, in a state of extreme subtlety. This spiritual body, formed from universal cosmic fluid, could become visible and tangible, according to the will of the Spirit, condensing or becoming transparent as needed. Thus, Jesus did not return to physical life, but remained visible through spiritual life, the true and imperishable one. The resurrection, therefore, was a real appearance, not the reanimation of a corpse. Kardec explains that, for the disciples of that time, without knowledge of spiritual laws, the only way to understand the phenomenon was to call it resurrection. But Spiritism demonstrates that such apparitions are natural phenomena of the extracorporeal life, identical to the manifestations of materialized spirits observed in authentic mediumistic meetings. The difference is that the perispirit of Jesus, pure and luminous, emanated incomparable vibrations perceptible only to spiritually prepared eyes. Modern physics recognizes that matter and energy are different states of the same substance. The spiritual body, described by Kardec, can be compared to an organized energy field, invisible to common senses, but capable of interacting with dense matter. Jesus, completely mastering the laws of the cosmic fluid, modulated his vibration to become perceptible in the physical plane. His appearance before Mary Magdalene, the disciples of Emmaus, and the gathered apostles was a phenomenon of luminous condensation, not a return to corporeal life. The quantum physics of consciousness proposes that the observer influences the energy field that surrounds them. In states of faith and deep emotion, the human brain expands its perceptual capacity and becomes more sensitive to subtle frequencies. This is why the disciples were able to see the resurrected Christ, as they were in vibrational harmony with him. Those who vibrated in fear or disbelief did not perceive him, not because Jesus was not there, but because his light frequency exceeded the range of their spiritual senses. Spiritual neuroscience shows that genuine mystical experiences, visions, sounds, luminous presences, occur in coherent brain states where there is synchronization between emotion and transcendence. The human brain is merely the receiver, the soul is the transmitter. The apostles, gathered in prayer and deep emotion, created the ideal vibrational field for the manifestation of Christ, who appeared to them with serenity and love, radiating peace. These appearances were not hallucinations, but real spiritual phenomena sustained by the fluidic laws of creation. Kardec explains that Jesus, after death, appeared in various places and in different forms. Sometimes he showed himself with a human appearance, sometimes enveloped in light, sometimes invisible but audible. This is due to the fact that the perispirit is moldable by will. It can take on the form that the spirit wishes to project, according to the purpose of the manifestation. Thus, he was able to appear among the disciples in the upper room, passing through closed doors, because he was no longer subject to the laws of dense matter. Energetic biology shows that the human body emits and receives subtle fields of energy, and that thought is a force capable of acting on matter. The perispirit is the organizing model of this energy. In Christ, this model vibrated at the divine frequency, allowing him to shape his own appearance and project himself simultaneously in various points, a phenomenon now known in spirituality as bilocation or spiritual ubiquity. The physics of light offers an inspiring parallel. Light is both wave and particle. It can cross barriers and become visible or invisible depending on the medium in which it acts. The spiritual body of Jesus behaved in the same way. Conscious light, sometimes condensed, sometimes ethereal, adapting to human eyes so that the truth of immortality would be visible. It was not the body that moved, but the consciousness that shaped space and time according to divine law. Spiritism reveals that the appearances of Christ also had a collective purpose. They were not just comfort for the disciples, but a universal confirmation of the survival of the soul. Jesus showed that death is merely a transition, and that true life is that of the spirit. His post-mortem presence was the first great public proof of immortality, the foundation of the Spiritist revelation that would later complete this teaching with a scientific basis. Transpersonal psychology sees in the appearance of Jesus the symbol of expanded and full consciousness, which transcends the ego and the body. The illuminated soul is not limited to forms. It manifests as pure, loving energy. Jesus is the model of this universal consciousness, which, by overcoming death, announces the eternity of life and the unity of all beings with the Creator. Kardec concludes that Jesus' body was not found because it naturally disintegrated, transforming into energy, as happens with all matter. There was no stolen body or empty tomb by miracle. The spiritual fluid dissolved the physical form, returning its elements to nature. The spirit remained alive, active, and present, not in the space of a tomb, but in the vibration of the entire earth. Modern science begins to glimpse this truth, that death is merely a change of state and that consciousness does not extinguish. Jesus, with his appearances, anticipated in vivid language the science of the spirit, demonstrating that life continues and that love is indestructible. Understanding the appearances of Jesus is understanding that death is just a moment of luminous transformation. Christ did not return from the grave. He simply never ceased to be alive. If this reflection has brought you peace and faith, share it. Because understanding the appearance of Jesus after his death is recognizing that life is eternal and divine love is the light that never goes out.